The number one mistake I see most small business owners make when they're first getting started is establishing their LLC and then being elected to be taxed as an S Corp. So today I'm going to share with you all the benefits of electing to be taxed as an S Corp for your business, how it can save you tens of thousands of dollars, and where you could go, one option, if you are interested in actually getting this process started. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. I'm Rich Smith, and one of the money lessons you never learn in school is how to distinguish yourself as a business owner who's just acting as a sole proprietor or independent contractor, sometimes known as like a gig worker, and then establishing an actual business, registering with your state, and knowing how to actually tell the government to tax you so that you can save yourself money each and every year. One of the best and most straightforward ways to do this, both at the federal and state level, is choosing to be taxed as an S Corp. So I'm about to dive into all the details, but before we do, drop a like so that other business owners can find this video. Let's start simple. If you're making money outside of a W-2 job, then the government says you got to report that income as something known as a sole proprietor. Simply put, it's an extra sheet of paper on your taxes, and they want you to stick the income you earn at the top. And then if you have any deductions, you can kind of take those out, those expenses, and then you got to pay taxes at the money that kind of flows down to the bottom. But what people don't realize is there's also something called self-employment tax. That's right. If you earn money as a business, even if you're just a person using your social security number, but you're not working for somebody else, then you owe Social Security, FICA, Medicare, Medicaid style taxes. So if you're kind of scratching your head going, if you make a buck and don't work for a business, then you owe somewhere in the range of right around 15% of that dollar in self-employment tax. And that's before that rest of the money, that 85 cents, flows on down to the rest of your income, anywhere else you made money like your W-2 job, and then you're taxed on that like normal income tax. So I'm hoping you're having this like aha moment that there is a way to save yourself tens of thousands of dollars if you tell your state and you tell the federal government that I want to be taxed differently and I don't need to change anything about my business. I might have to set some things up, like some things in place, but I don't have to register any differently. I can still be an LLC. I just want you to tell them to tax you as an S Corp. You see, because one of the ways to save yourself some money is to pay yourself via actual payroll, and I'm going to leave a link down below in the description to the payroll company that I actually use. One of the ways to save yourself money on taxes is to pay yourself actual payroll. I know so many people, you're probably one of them if you're watching this video, that go, oh, well, I pay myself every week. Money goes to my bank account and I pay myself, a couple $100s, or I transfer it in. That's not payroll, that's not salary, that's like a distribution, like a dividend, if you will. That distribution is taxed the same way as if you were a sole proprietor. You see, an S Corp means you actually set up real payroll through a payroll company. There's a small fee for that you can deduct from your business expenses. And then when you're paying yourself each and every week, 2 weeks, month, you decide that money is taxed differently than if you were a sole proprietorship. Now, to cut to the chase, the tax savings is that the business pays half of the employment tax, and then you pay the other half. So if you're paying yourself like a reasonable salary, they call this reasonable compensation, you can determine what that is. If you're working as like your own employee in your own business, then let's say, we're going to use an example here, your business made $100,000. Nice job, good year for you. If you were to take all that money and have it pass on through to your regular normal income tax return, then you're going to owe all of the self-employment tax, like I said before, right around 15%. But if you're taxed as an S Corp, well, you get to pick your salary. So let's just say it's something like $30,000. Well, the business pays the half of that employment tax on the $30,000. You pay the other half on that $30,000. And then that $70,000 could pass through to you without paying any self-employment tax. It's instead going to be known as a distribution that is not subject to self-employment taxes. Now, just to be clear, it's still going to go on your income tax return. It's still going to count as income. You'll pay some income tax there. But you just saved yourself 15%, right around there, on that $70,000. Now, I gotta say, this is where I always lose people because it's like a 2-3 step process. They're like, wait, I gotta elect S Corp, yes, both federal and state. I gotta set up payroll and figure out like a reasonable compensation for myself. Yes, you do. But then you can sort of like set it and forget it, and at the end of the year, that money all passes through all the remainder. So to anyone out there making, more than 30, I've heard 60, 80,000 in profit. If you don't want to pay all of the self-employment tax, then this is a strategy that you might want to learn more about. If you're interested in knowing what the IRS deems a reasonable compensation, a reasonable salary, then leave me a comment down below because that's a whole nother video. You have to decide that for yourself, and there are guidelines. Now, if we take a step back, big picture, key takeaways, you might be asking yourself, are there any other benefits to being taxed as an S Corp? And I have to say, tax savings really is number one. If you were ever going to, sell the business or the business was going to fold, then there could be some benefits to having it be structured like that as well. Also, some other things to keep in mind, as your business begins to grow and scale, being structured as an S Corp could actually help you if your business is going to end up paying for some healthcare costs. This is a little bit, I don't want to get in the weeds here, but if the business is paying for healthcare, then you, as the owner of the business, can overall save on some taxes. Likewise, if you're set up as an S Corp, you could probably, and you really should eventually start thinking of things like setting up a retirement plan for yourself as the business owner. A couple of those plans you might want to look at are known as a SEP IRA. Or if you kind of are just like on your own, or it's just you and like your spouse, you could even look into something called a solo 401k. So overall, I really would consider this for your business. There are advantages beyond simply tax savings, but the number one thing is it really can help keep money in your pocket. And I want to challenge you to explore more on this, because if you're thinking of ways to save yourself money, if you're learning more about how to be tax efficient, then you're going to kind of like dig into, what you can and cannot claim throughout the year. Are you doing it properly? And anyway, it's just going to help you overall with everything. Again, I'll leave a link down below in the description to the payroll company that I use. If you decide to sign up and run payroll, they're always offering some promotions, and they can even help answer some questions for you if you're wondering about this S Corp status. Also, please check out my website. It is full of business blog articles. I have a podcast you can download and listen to, and there's a ton more resources available there, so please head on over. Also, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.